Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is really exposing Whitney Rose for the liar and the fraud that she really thought she was doing her big one, but she is exposed for being a liar and a fraud and trying to set up Lisa Barlow. We have the receipts. And then we'll do a fun review of the show. But before we dive in, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. So, with that, let's dive right on in. And you guys, if you're listening live, be sure to say hi in the chat box. Let me know where you're listening from. What were some of your favorite moments, and whose side are you on? Whitney's or Lisa's? So, let's dive in. My first thoughts on Whitney Rose and the whole scandal that it was exposed that allegedly she sources her jewelry line, which also allegedly turns your skin green, from Alibaba or AliExpress, which is essentially a third-party wholesale company that sells, jewelry, t-shirts, clothes, knickknacks, whatever may have you, for like penny on the dollars, like super, super cheap. You buy in bulk and then you resell it at a big markup. But Whitney Rose was acting like she and her team were designing these designs. It's all real, it's all authentic, unique designs, blah, 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 blah. So she's acting like the fact that Dana Wilkey exposed this on her Patreon podcast, like somehow this is some huge betrayal. Number one, this is public information. And don't worry, you guys, I'm going to get into the whole exposing Whitney as a liar and a fraud, and Whitney and Lisa Barlow, and who I think actually gave the information to Dana Wilkey, because Dana Wilkey basically told us who her informant is without actually saying it. And I have the clip and we'll watch it. But back to this. Whitney is trying to make a moment out of a non-moment, because everything that we know about this situation with her jewelry line Prism, same photos on her website as the Alibaba AliExpress website. This is all public information. This isn't like somebody did a background check. This isn't somebody accusing somebody of, sleeping with men to get their tequila in distribute it in stores. This isn't somebody talking about people going bankrupt or committing fraud. This isn't a scandal or a secret. Like literally anybody could go to Alibaba.com and PrismByWhitney.com, whatever the website is, and see it and see that they are selling the same exact thing. This is literally Google. You can just Google it. This isn't some big scandal. So Whitney, pipe down. Like even on Bravo Snark side, it says, since Whitney has brought this into the forefront, let's talk about her alleged Alibaba AliExpress jewelry. My amazing followers, you all, had sent me pics immediately upon launch of Prism, showing me this was just stuff from China discount website. When it comes to housewives merch, you all don't miss a beat. These are old pics, FYI, except for the last picture of the cross from prison, which was screenshot today. So my point is this. It honestly doesn't matter if Dana Wilkey actually had, quote, a housewife informant or not, because like Bravo Snark side said, this is public information. This isn't actually a secret. And it seems like people were already realizing what was going on, just no YouTuber or podcaster with enough following or hit right actually talked about it on their platform. So Whitney's trying to make this whole thing about my business, my reputation. This is literally all online for free. You don't need to call a private detective. Now let's break down how Whitney Rose was busted for lying. Number one, let's first talk about the staged hotel phone call about her jewelry being in the trash, trying to implicate Lisa Barlow as going against her business. Number one, anytime anyone on television is recorded, whether it is audio, whether it is visual, you have to sign a release form giving the production company, giving the network permission to use your likeness on television. So the reason why I bring that up is when the hotel person calls Whitney and is like, "Oh, Whitney, we found this jewelry in the trash can in Lisa's room. Do you want it or whatever, blah, blah, blah." All of that was staged because the hotel people had to sign a release to use their voice and their name and their likeness on the show for that call itself. Adam from Up and Adam, he had to sign a release too, just to use his voice on the phone call. So all of that is scheduled, all of that is staged, all of that, it has like legit paperwork behind it. So Whitney acting like the hotel people are just calling her out of the blue is fake and staged. Also, I have never in the history of the world have ever heard of someone from a hotel calling someone about trash in a room that wasn't even their room. Does that make any sense to you? Why would people at the hotel, number one, be going through the trash? That's suspect. Wouldn't you just take the trash bag out and throw it away? And number two, why would they call Whitney about trash in a legit trash can left in somebody else's room that was not hers? Sure, she may have booked the room, but she wasn't staying in the room. It was Lisa's room. Did she book the room or did Bravo book the room? I don't know. Doesn't matter. But I've never heard of a hotel worker going through the trash and then calling someone and say, "Hey, we found this in the trash. Do you want it?" No, that's why I threw it in the trash. And why didn't they call Lisa? You see what I'm saying? If I'm a hotel worker, I'm in somebody's hotel room and I look in the trash bag and there's jewelry in it. Maybe I'm like, "Oh my God, they accidentally threw away their jewelry. Let me call the concierge and have them, contact the people." The concierge would contact the person who is actually in the room. They would have called Lisa and said, "Hey, we found jewelry. We just want to make sure you didn't accidentally throw this jewelry away because this is the room you're staying in." Why would they call Whitney? Doesn't make sense. All staged, all fake. Second part. Friends are very, very fickle, especially in this industry. People smile on your face in cahoots one day, and then the next day they are like, "I don't know her. She's crazy. Who is that?" I'm talking about Up and Adam. Now, I personally don't like talking about other content creators. However, since he is on the show, his likeness, his voice, he is now a part of the show. So I feel like I'm allowed to give my opinion on him because now he is a part of the show. He's not just another YouTuber or podcaster, but he signed that release form. He is now a part of the show. He's a part of a storyline. So that is why I will give my opinion on what I think is going on with him. However, if he was just a regular content creator, I would not do this. So that's my disclaimer on that because I want to be respectful of all content creators. But once you're on the show, you're fair game. Okay, so he is now backtracking like nobody's business. He's on his channel being like, "I don't really know Whitney like that. That's not what I said. The producers edited my phone call. We had multiple conversations. They used, they filmed it out of sequence. They gave a confessional in the middle. They chopped it up. I never said that. They took it out of context." He is basically backpedaling like nobody's business. But I'm sorry, Adam, we heard the conversation. You clearly said that it was someone in Whitney's circle, meaning the housewife group, who owned a liquor brand. And you said that's who, now we know Dana said it was. That's what you said on the phone. Unless they really did some type of like AI Jedi Knight editing where they used the line she said and then used a line you said from two completely different conversations, you were co-signing what Whitney was saying. Okay. Why I think you're backtracking now, a couple of reasons. Number one, Lisa threatened to sue because people aren't playing games anymore in these streets. That's why everything is for entertainment, alleged my opinion. Okay. People aren't playing games anymore in these streets. You come for people, you lie on people, they're going to call their lawyer in 2 seconds. People are not playing games. I think because Lisa threatened to sue. I also think because Dana Wilkey came out and said, I unequivocally said that it was not Lisa Barlow. And she's doubling down that she made it very clear it was not Lisa. And now Adam's just being like, I never said that it was Lisa Barlow. Whitney said she thought it was. And then after everything she told me, then I was like, well, maybe that makes sense because, I felt loyalty to Whitney because she was nice to me at BravoCon. He's basically like, I don't really know her like that. It was all her. It was all editing. I never said it. He's backtracking all the way up. And I think also because he doesn't want the smoke, it's not a good look to be ratting people out. And especially when it turns out you're lying or being misleading. And Dana Wilkey has come out, and I have a clip, and I'm going to play it in a little bit, basically co-signing with what I thought, which was this. When Dana Wilkey got the information about Whitney Rose allegedly using not counterfeit jewelry, but just jewelry from Alibaba or AliExpress, and then selling for like $1, and then selling it for like $50 on her website, which a lot of people knew about, just not a lot of people were talking about it on their platforms. But a lot of people knew about this. But when Dana decided to actually post it on her Patreon, Adam's husband, Jason, heard about it and found out about it. And told Adam. And then Adam and Jason decided to call Whitney and give her a heads up because they're cool. I guess Whitney had Adam's back during BravoCon. Adam had said something about Monica that was like positive. The rest of the housewives kind of came after him, except for Whitney, because Whitney is cool with Monica and like wants to be friends with her, which for whatever reason is sickening, but whatever. But, snakes like to be with snakes. So it is what it is. And so when Adam and Jason told Whitney what was going on, her reaction was, oh, it must be Lisa. It must be Lisa. Right? So if this is all confirmed that Whitney, number one, knew about this story and knew it was coming out, and two, when she knew about it, and this was all before filming, all off camera, her initial reaction was Lisa Barlow must have been the one to do this, then why did Whitney on camera, on filming, act so surprised and shocked and hurt about Meredith talking about it on the show? And tried to act like it was Meredith doing all this stuff and attacked Meredith at first, when you already knew about the thing, and then you tried to downplay it like, oh, it was like this little post, like I kind of heard about it. Turns out you were trying to get Adam to find out who was saying it from Dana, and you already said it was Lisa. Then why did you act so surprised and shocked and like it was such a big reveal when Heather said, oh yeah, the person who told Meredith about it was Lisa? If behind the scenes and before filming, you already had Adam spying and doing his private investigator situation, and this is no shade to him, he's just doing what he's doing. He's a content creator. He's creating the content. He's getting the scoop. He's just doing him. So this is no shade to him by any means. If you were already that deep into it thinking Lisa did it, why did you act so shocked and so surprised and so betrayed that Lisa knew about it? When A, you already knew about it, and B, you were already trying to get information and proof to prove that it was Lisa, but you weren't able to get any proof to prove that it was Lisa. So you never got any proof to prove that it was Lisa, but yet then you started filming and you say, I have proof, the person who told me, like the podcaster said it, he had like verified it, blah, blah, blah. But then Adam told it, that ended up calling him and said, "Hey, listen, I need you to call and have this conversation with me on camera for continuity." So when she was yelling at Meredith, when she was yelling at Lisa at all the parties, that was all before the conversation was actually in the car that she had with Adam. They shot that after in order to get that footage to then go back and insert it before the mafia party. So they shot the stuff out of sequence and then they went back to insert it. And they do this a lot. They do it sometimes in pickup shots. They did it a lot in Beverly Hills. Anytime they're filming and they're filming like in a car, usually it's a shot that they get after the fact to go back and insert in order to make the story make sense, in sequence for continuity, so everything makes sense. So Whitney basically needed Adam to call and say or allude to that they had proof that it was Lisa in order to justify her pointing the finger at Lisa. And Adam said this on his channel. This is what he said. I watched the video. But the gag is this. Do I believe Adam? Yes. However, I think he's leaving out the fact that I think he was 100% a willing participant in setting up Lisa Barlow to take the fall for this alleged secret betrayal reveal, when in reality, it's not a secret or betrayal or reveal. All of these websites are on Google, and all you have to do is go on Google and see it. Like, this isn't some big scandal that they're revealing about them. It's not like, oh my God, Jen Shaw stealing from the elderly. Oh my gosh, it's not someone's having an affair. It's not that. It's just like, oh, literally, I can just go on these two websites and see that she's buying it from them and then marking it up. That's not a secret. Everybody does white labeling. Not everybody, but a lot of people do. You just have to be transparent about it. Right? So it's obvious that Adam was in cahoots with Whitney to blame it on Lisa. But when the smoke came, I don't think he was really built for it like that. And now he's squealing like a pig. She said it. She said it was Lisa based on what she said. It was editing. We shot it out of sequence. He's just squealing all the stuff because he doesn't want the backlash. He doesn't want the smoke because it is so obviously a lie. And when the person, shout out to Dana Wilkey, who actually broke the story, comes out and says, I told you directly it was not Lisa Barlow. I said that straight up from jump. When the person who actually broke the story that you are alleging told you it was Lisa comes out and says, I never said that, the jig is up. The jig is up. She's caught lying. Whitney, to me, is a very dangerous, jealous, narcissistic, weird person. She's a weirdo. And her obsession with Lisa Barlow is psychotic and really, 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 really scary. And she's also a hypocrite. She's like, why, Lisa, you're coming for my brand, my business, my reputation, says the girl who, for the last 5 seasons, has said Lisa Barlow has had sex for funding for her vodka line, has had sex for distribution of her vodka line, is giving blowies for some type of jazz tickets. Like, you have consecutively come, and then you even got Meredith Marks was in there talking about SEC filings. Like, you have continuously come for Lisa Barlow's business and family, saying that she's sleeping with men for money and to help her business and to get, social standing. You've come for her repeatedly. Those are actual scandals. Those are actual betrayals. Saying somebody is sleeping with people for business favors and money, that's actually a scandal. Saying that you're, basically being an influencer and you're just throwing your name on some Alibaba jewelry isn't really that big of a scandal or a shocker, to be perfectly honest. It's scary. It's absolutely scary. So if Lisa Barlow isn't behind the quote betrayal, leaking of it, who is? Who is? Let's hear it from Dana Wilkey, what she had to say. And then I want you guys to weigh in on who you think it is. And then I will let you guys know who I think it is. But I think it's pretty obvious based on what Dana said. Okay, here we go.
Rose pressured Adam before he could get a hold of me to tell him what she wanted to hear on the show. And Adam rolled with it, I'm gathering, because nobody else released the Alibaba gossip except for me. And that's because the person picked me very intentionally that actually wanted to call out Whitney Rose's business. Now, I know today you are dying for me to tell you who I think this cast member is. Why do I say think? Well, because this cast member tried to use a Finsta account to do it, but they did it in a way that I know who it is. The plot thickens. This person was very angry behind the scenes at what Whitney Rose did on the show to them after they were so close. This person has ties to staff members that gossip and are known to gossip. And this cast member is the best researcher of gossip out of the whole cast. And that is saying something that I admire and respect them. And I know this firsthand. And this person is very strategic how they deliver information on the show and when to deliver information on the show that usually helps with iconic scenes and storylines, and is the person that you would least likely expect to drop this tea. And if you can figure out who it is, then you just got the information that you listened.
I mean, was it Heather? Was it Heather Gay who did this to Whitney? I mean, based on what Dana Wilkey said, to me, it sounded like she was, that was very Heather Gay coded to me. Seemed like it was Heather. Where I personally land on this is I don't care. And I don't care because I think whatever karma Whitney gets, Whitney deserves. She has stacked up and she has earned every single bit of karma that she gets. She has been mean. She has been vindictive. She has been a perpetual liar. She gets pleasure out of hurting people, which is really weird and sick. And I just think that whatever comes Whitney way, she deserves when it comes to all of this stuff. She has strategically gone against every single person on that cast with, snake-like, demon-like behavior, to be perfectly honest. So I honestly don't care. And again, this isn't some scandal. This isn't some big betrayal. This is literally just a jewelry website in Alibaba with matching photos of the same exact jewelry because she's just white labeling her jewelry. That's not a scandal. It's only a scandal because she's denying it. Now you're a fraud. And because you're denying it, that makes you a fraud. And that's why it's a scandal. That is why it is a scandal. Because once you lie and deny, then you become a fraud. So girl. But yeah, I mean, listen, Whitney Rose, you need to just go ahead and just admit you lied about the whole situation because you were trying to do damage control because Adam and Jason, and this came straight from Adam's mouth himself. You can go on his YouTube channel and watch it. He said this out of his own mouth. I just watched it. He said him and his husband gave Whitney the heads up that Dana Wilkey was going to leak this information. And when he did that, Whitney said, "Oh, it has to be Lisa. It has to be Lisa. Get the information, get the proof." And there was no proof. And so she went on the show and lied through her teeth, saying that it was true and it was verified. And then she had to call Adam and beg him to call her on the phone to get that clip. But all that happened after she had already blamed it on Lisa. And now Adam's trying to blame editing. But it's like, no, you were in cahoots with her. You just got caught and you're not built for this and you're not built for the smoke. So now you're trying to get out of it. But you were just as guilty as her, because if you weren't, why would you lie on the phone call? Because you did. Oh, it was someone in your circle with a tequila that owns a liquor brand. The only person who owns a liquor brand is Lisa. So you were in on it just as much as Whitney was. If you weren't, you would have said, "Sorry, I can't say that because it's not true." Now, listen. Listen. I also think that if it was Heather who did it, I'm not mad at her. But I'm not mad. If Heather did it, good for Heather. Like, whatever. Whitney is just too conniving and too evil. It is what it is. All right. So, as always, I want to know what you guys think. So, before we head on to just a recap of the season, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. All right. Now, so should we do a recap of the show, of the episode, or should we talk about, let's just do a recap of the episode. Let's do that. Okay. So here are the ladies, and I'll just give a rundown of what I think and what I think is going on with everyone, okay? All right. Now, let's start with Whitney. We just did a deep dive on how she